Hello everybody, welcome back. I am Torvald here with yet another Abyssal video. This time you can see I am busting out the Sacrilege. I had mixed feelings about this one starting off because I've had a traumatic time with the Sacrilege in my past, but you know what, I decided to give it a go based off of fit, and I actually really like it. This might be one of my new favorites. Such a cool ship, just look at that thing. Here's the fit and everything. I'd say altogether, those Abyssal Ballistic control systems are just faction. I did that just out of fear of not being able to do this, that I would not have enough DPS. So I put Abyssal Ballistic control systems, but you can use normal faction missile launcher or ballistic control systems there and be good. So here we go, jumping into T5 Darks. I've had a traumatic past with this ship, so I was very hesitant to do this again, but I was like, you know what, let's go for it. Total, you're looking at about 1.8 to 2 billion-ish, depending on market prices. So the main reason why I'm so afraid of using this ship, and this sounds so dumb, but basically application is scary. It's actually a real challenge, I guess, for using heavy assault missile launchers. As you can see, I've got webs and target painters, which help. But there's still, you know, a danger. I learned here that target painting, there's a skill for that, and you definitely need to have that trained before you can use target painter drones. So fun little fact there that I learned a little late, but I pressed on anyway. So you can see drones, I'll just be using the Vespas and dark sites, which sometimes is not the best idea to use drones and dark sites, but when they do apply damage, everything's good. With the web and the target painter and stuff that's not moving so fast, they do help, but it's you know, every little bit adds up. You can see they're missing every shot, but luckily damage is being applied to these guys and it's all working out. Tank so far is holding up pretty good against a bunch of Vedmax. This was actually a really good first room to come in on, so I could see the tank in action and experience what it, you know, how it holds up. I saw the numbers obviously before I jumped into this, but I was you know, wasn't sure what would happen. I've been so used to flying other stuff, haven't flown the Sacrilege in a while, but this thing is a tank. A really hard-hitting tank actually, and it's really nice to see the kind of damage that it does once it applies. Your biggest threats with this thing are actually time and getting small spawns. I didn't have any timing issues in the first room. In the second room, I kind of had a couple instances that were a little bit scary. Time definitely added up on me because I got nothing but like cruisers and frigates. I got one of the rooms. We'll see later. This ended up being a really good run altogether with the variety and spawns that I get. As I mentioned earlier, no clue about the target painting skill, so I couldn't use my target painting drones. I have like target painting level 1. Every level in target painting does reduces the amount of capacitor your target painter uses, which, you know, it adds up, so it's nice. It's the other skill you need, the other target painting skill. I gotta look it up here. I did not know about this skill. So I'm running around with what I've got, and it it could have been a lot better. Yeah, definitely I could have applied a lot more damage. The skill Signature Focusing, very important skill with this fit. So target painter, obviously I'm using the web and target painter to apply damage to anything small. And while the target painter skill actually decreases the amount of capacitor, the signature focusing skill increases the signature radius bonus per skill level to the target painter. So if you got level 4, that's 20% bonus. Level 3, 15%, obviously 5% per level. Very important skill to have if you're going to fly this fit. I've learned that afterwards, so fun fact, you can do this without that skill, but that skill will help a lot, especially when you see later on application on this, on some of these rats. Coming here into the Curbitus Tyrannos room, basically I want to take out anything that's going to hinder me from getting to the Corpus Tyrannos while I burn not directly at Corpus Tyrannos, but in the general direction. That way I can keep, keep the transversal velocity up on that thing, make it harder to hit. Basically keep moving, but not directly at. If you fly directly at or away from the Corpus Tyrannos, you're gonna have a rough time because that thing's gonna be able to apply perfect damage to you, and it hurts a lot. So here you can see all I'm doing is taking out the Entangler's and making it easier for me to get closer to the Corpus Tyrannos. As you know, dark sights, the turrets all take a debuff, and then you get an increase to speed. So when it comes to rooms like this, your best bet is to get right under the guns as soon as possible. That way damage cannot be applied, and then get webs on Corpus Tyrannos, because Corpus Tyrannos actually moves at a pretty fast speed for a battleship. So once you get under their guns and you're orbiting, you still want to keep something like a web or something on them, just on Corpus Tyrannos, just to keep that thing from getting away from you, because Corpus Tyrannos is going to be trying to fly away from you. And the minute that that battleship gets far enough away to where it can actually apply damage, you're in trouble. Like I said, I've experienced that firsthand a couple times before in the past, and it has not been fun. Once I'm in this position right here, everything is easy. And I say that because right now you can see I've got webs on Corpus Tyrannos. I'm staying under the gun, so she's not going to be able to hit me. I don't have any entanglers or any starvings or any newts on me, so pretty simple operation from here on out. Just get all damage on Corpus Tyrannos, take her down, and move on. It's just a matter of hanging out. But yeah, when you're this close and you're orbiting Corpus Tyrannos with web, she's not gonna be able to pull away from you. It is basically just a slugfest. If she gets a lucky hit on you, that'd be really incredible. But yeah, this is very simple, these rooms. It's just a matter of getting to this point and killing everything on your way, because you don't have that far of a range with the heavy assault missile launchers. So your goal is to kill stuff on your way out. One thing I did not mention in the beginning of this video, this is actually pretty important. Improved crash. Pre-roll this stuff before you activate this site. It's almost absolutely necessary to help apply DPS better. Re-roll it like in a citadel or somewhere before you enter the site. That way if you get negative effects, you can jump out of your clone and jump back in without that timer. It does suck knowing that you kind of have to do that, but for missile application, and you can see much later in this video that is extremely necessary. This first, like I said earlier, the variations and spawns that I got while making this video were really good. I was really glad to get like a nice bit of test, I guess you would say, a nice like sample of every spawn to deal with. Then from here it's just clean up. I mean, not too much, not too strenuous or anything going on here. Actually get a really good, I wonder if it's this site. Hold on, let's see here. Any minute now, we'll see. Hopefully. Oh, I'm just gonna chill on the bioadaptive cache. Alright, I'm dealing with this stuff. I'm showing people fits in chat and whatnot. There's the in-game channel Abyssal Lurkers, as well as the Discord for anything and everything Abyssal, if you ever want to check that out, if you're not already in there. Highly recommend it. Good people in there. Alright, is this the one? Let's see. Oh, and we're flying away from it. But you can kind of get an idea. You can see the damage I'm doing to these cruisers, and let's go ahead and lock that up so we can get our tractor beam on there. Tractor beam, I didn't use it as much as I should have throughout this video, but it still came in handy. Okay, so 37 million disc right there. This turns out to be a really, really good run, by the way. Just, one of those you hope for. Alright, was that second room right here completed? Looks like we got less or more than 10 minutes remaining, so we're doing pretty good. As I always say, as long as you complete each room in 5 minutes or less, you are good. Right here, we're at 11 minutes, so it's only taken me 9 minutes to complete the first 2 rooms, so I know I'm good in this last room. Leshak room, actually it sucks because they're starving Leshak, so this is where I was like, alright, cool, this is a great test for this ship. Because I can't burn away from these guys. Starving Leshaks, I have to burn closer to them to get damage. I reload in the faction ammo. I know it's only 4 kilometers, but that I wanted to get every bit of damage on them as soon as possible. Because starving Leshaks, they do nude out a lot, and my goal is just to get them down as quickly as possible and hope my cap lasts long enough. That's your tactic for this room. If you're flying another ship that has, if you're flying like the Gila where you have drones to take care of Leshaks, you can fly away, or you got some kind of weapon system that has the range. But when it comes to starving Leshaks, if you can't apply damage from them from 40 kilometers or farther, then you need to burn in as quickly as possible to them and get damage on them ASAP. Otherwise your cap will not last long. You can see those 2 starving Leshaks melted. They're gone. I didn't have any issues with cap. So pretty good outcome right there. And then from here it's literally just cleanup. Taking out Leshaks one by one. Very easy stuff here. Yeah, once you come into a room with starving Leshaks, that's where you need to be on basically high alert status and like vigilant and attentive to what you're doing. But once they're dead, you should be good. I guess renewing Leshaks, those guys can cause a little bit of trouble. I mean, if you have good enough DPS, not really. But at the same time, 3 or 4 renewing Leshaks will they'll cause your time to add up. All those Leshaks rep each other. You'll notice when you look at them, they have their remote rep effects going. But the renewing Leshaks, they remote rep more than everything else. They're better at it than everything else. So you'll see that whenever you come into a room, that it's just like everything's holding up a lot longer than they should. But yeah, here Leshak room, very easy. Completed it in like 2 or 3 minutes. Once the starvings are down, no issues remain. And it's just a matter of cleaning up and getting out of this site. And here, I actually use my tractor beam. I have that, I don't use that much. I usually follow the same path, or the same, like, I do the same thing every site. I'm a creature of habit. I fly to the cache. Unless there's something crazy going on, I fly to the cache and I get the cache, then orbit the gate. Unless I need to stay away or whatnot. But yeah, and I just wait for that beautiful loot to come at you. And boom, there it is. Medium disintegration specialization skill. That made this site right there. That was awesome. Y'all can't see it, but at the time of recording this, I jumped up and screamed. Because I was so happy that I got that on the first site. With the Sacrilege, it was like a sign. Those things at the time of this video, I think they're like 650 million ISK, so really good drop if you can get one of those. Yeah, average from T5s, you're making about 70 to 80 million ISK per site, but with one of those books, you just made yourself a whopping 600 million ISK in one site. And now here's the rooms I was actually worried about. This one kind of had me nervous because you can see all the different targets, all the small targets, and for heavy assault missile launchers, not ideal at all. Kind of scary actually. So this is where I was like, ah, crap, here we go. Now I'm gonna pay for that specialization skill book. The name of the game here, kill everything as quickly as possible. I waited too long to take Pyrolancia. I was kind of seeing what the different possibilities were here with drones taking out smaller stuff. If I have webs and target painters on them, I was kind of just seeing what would happen. As you can see, my drones are not able to do anything to that one, even with webs and target painters on it. They're missing every shot they take at them, really. So I decided, alright, you know what, since they're going to be that useless and I can't really use them for that purpose, I'm going to go ahead and just focus targets one by one and get everything on each target. Confusers I should have made though. Obviously I killed those after the dissipators. Dissipators were pretty important to kill. Confusers, I don't know if they're more important to kill than dissipators, but they're definitely one of your top priority targets in this ship. anything that affects missile application is not good, and you want that gone ASAP. Now with those gone, missiles apply a little bit better. Yeah, you can just see and get a sense of how long this takes based off how much time it takes me to kill each individual person, and I still have to go through all those little guys. One thing that'll help and that you could pay attention to, and I did not realize this until I went through and watched the video afterwards and saw that I did not do this at all. Blue cloud. If there is a blue cloud, use it. The blue cloud boosts the signature radius of everything. If you get in that blue cloud, it'll make your missiles hit a lot easier. Yeah, I didn't really use that tactic. I was not in the mindset of boosting things to signature radius and, you know, getting application on. So I did not use that tactic, but that is a very good tactic to use for the Sacrilege. So go for it. Try it out. I'm going to be running this thing a lot more now that I've used it and I like it. I'm very comfortable with it after these two sites. You'll see this one. This site was basically the only site. This was the one where I really wanted to basically see what would happen. And I'm glad these next two rooms worked out how they did, because it gave me a sense of what my issues were. This is really dumb. When rats in the abyss aggress your drones, and your drones are aggressing that one or something, there's this stupid like spiraling effect where they chase each other away. I don't know, it's like they're circling each other and they're running away from you. It's so annoying to deal with. But you gotta pay attention to that, especially in a fit in a ship like this, where you can't really afford to let NPCs get 30 kilometers away from you until you realize it, especially if it's something you're attacking. If you're shooting at something and your drones are shooting at it, and then that thing starts chasing your drones and it gets away from you before you realize it, you could be wasting your time. And this is one of those situations where time, I mean, you'll see at the end of this this site, time really adds up. So every second matters, and you just want to pay attention. It annoys me to no end when these NPCs chase drones, then my drones chase them, and they end up going off, you know, far away from me. You can actually see I'm applying pretty good. So whenever you're using, whenever you're going for frigates, Caldari Navy faction Nova missiles. Whenever you're going for anything, any frigates, Caldari Navy Nova, use those. Use faction missiles. They apply a lot better than the Tech 2 stuff. For cruisers, I use Tech 2. For battleships, Tech 2. And it works. But for frigates, use faction missiles. Don't, you know, you think more DPS is good? It's not good if it doesn't apply. So think about that. You can see right now I'm roughly at the 5. Yep, there I am, right there at the 5-minute mark. And I still have 5 people left to kill. So kinda, it's one of those where I'm like, okay, this is not good. Like, I set 5 minutes as a standard for myself because, you know, the actual maximum time you can spend per room is like 6.5 minutes each room for 3 rooms. If you take 6.5 minutes for 3 rooms, that puts you at 19 minutes and 30 seconds completion time, and that's cutting it way too close. So I put that 5-minute standard on myself. So now that I'm right here, taking longer than 5 minutes, that's when I really start to get a sense of, oh crap, like I need to, you know, I need to move it. I need to get this thing going. I need to speed up. And like I said, it's all application. All of its application. The damage is really good on this thing. It's like 800 DPS. It's just a matter of applying that damage. So there we go. First room done. Took me more than 5 minutes. Got to be wary of that time. And that darkness got bright for a second. Alright, and then we come into this room. And I'm like, perfect. Not an ideal situation. So I'm going to focus confusers first. Those are my main target because those guys do disrupt your weapons. And anything that takes away from weapon application, not good. So they're my priority number 1. But this is another instance where I'm like, okay, let's let's see what this thing can do. Let's see how fast I can kill these guys. And while I am individually killing them pretty quickly, which is good, it's when you look at how many there are, that's when you like start to think, oh crap, like it's not good. Tank holds up pretty well to all the, once you get enough of them down, you're good. It's just a matter of playing with that Ancillary repper. Just, you know, popping it off every once in a while, giving it some heat. Just long enough. You should not go through a full load of, or a full reload of paste right there. You should be able to get enough damage off the field before you go into reload with that thing to not have to worry about it. As you can see, I've got, you know, enough. I got a couple cycles left there, and everything is good. Damage is it's kind of good that you can see all any other site when your drones get yellow boxed, you pull them back, right? In this site, you can see I'm actually not doing that, and I've been doing it like that on purpose. I've purposefully been letting drones take the aggro, because you can see that even though drones are taking aggro, they're still not taking damage because we're in a dark site and these things can't hit. And you can see a couple of my drones, when their speed drops because they get webbed or scrammed, even when they're webbed or scrammed, they still are good and they don't take damage. So it's kind of like letting your drones tank for you. It's like they're kiting out. You saw earlier I was taking a lot of damage and I actually had to use my Ancil until all those guys started going after my drones. And that's when I was like, all right. And it kind of, you know, I never planned on doing that. But then once I kind of saw the situation and saw that drones were kiting out these guys and taking the damage off me, I was like, all right, that's good. I'm gonna let that happen. These are Caldari Navy Vespas. They are shield. They're faction, so they have a lot more hit points. So I know that if I see one get too low in shield, I can just pull it back and let them recharge. So consider letting that happen. Letting your drones do some kiting for you. It's not a bad idea at all in dark sites. One of those things I never realized. This thing's tank doesn't struggle, but you can definitely see like how much damage I do take whenever they're all on me like that. So yeah, that's a fun little, interesting little tactic to learn there, letting your drones kite for you, and basically take the or you know, mitigate some of the damage off of yourself. So remember that tactic in dark sites. Let your drones take some of the aggro and get the heat off of you. So we're coming up, looks like we're at maybe the 11.5 or 10.5, 11 minute mark right now. Maybe closer to 10 minutes, and we still got these guys to kill. So again, you can see this one room's taking me over 5 minutes to complete. From the very get-go, I should have taken Pyrolancia. I don't remember what dose it was. It was either the 2 or 3, or the 3 or 5%. But definitely take that if you have a couple of these rooms. I'm just now hitting the 10-minute mark, and I've still got all these guys to kill. And in my mind, I'm like, oh no, like first room took me over 5 minutes. This room's gonna take me over 5 minutes, and that's where I'm kind of a little bit nervous on time. And it's just unlucky spawn, unlucky. However, it's not unlucky enough to where it's going to kill me. It's just unlucky enough because the time adds up. And I kind of get lucky in the last room. Use one of my little tactics to help me out. And again, I did not use any... I can't even tell if there's a blue cloud, but I did not use any blue cloud. I didn't think about that until after making this video to look around for a blue cloud to help me out with boosting their signature radius. Right now, I've got the signature focus... Yeah, signature focusing skill, I've got that training. So next time that I do this, I'll be able to boost, my target painter would have an increased signature radius boost to whatever I'm target painting. So that'll help me a lot with application. Definitely don't be afraid to throw heat on there to get, you know, to increase damage, to get done faster. Throw heat on there, especially once you realize, it's actually better to do that before you realize you're in a bad spot. Go ahead and just preemptively start overheating on stuff just to get them down faster, rather than me where I'm heating after the fact. But here we go, last guy going down. It's very important that you while you're killing the last couple of NPCs, it's important that you're sitting on the gate ready to go. You don't want to be in a position where the last person is dying and you still have to go to the cache. We got 8 minutes 20 seconds remaining in this final room, and here's where I get lucky. So Origin Conduit, there's a blue cloud, but I don't really utilize that. All these little guys, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Deviant Suppressor, let's go. Come on, everyone over to the Deviant Suppressor. I'm gonna use this thing to kill these guys, make my life a lot easier. I realize once I start applying damage to these guys, that's not as bad as I think. At all, really. You can see that I actually apply pretty well once I get webs and target painter on them. They go down a lot faster than I would think. So it's kind of nice knowing that they go down that fast. Obviously it takes like 4 or 5 missiles to kill one. But here we got the medium suppressor, and you can see all these NPCs starting to take damage. And that is exactly what I needed in this site. Very good idea to use medium suppressor. Be mindful of your drones, but you can see my drones aren't taking that much damage compared to all these guys. But here you can see that my damage application to them is pretty good, and the medium suppressor is helping me just annihilate these guys. So this is one of those rooms where I'm like, it's like I'm in a race and I just hit the speed strip and just freaking zoomed through this one, and it's really nice, especially considering that I came into this with 8 minutes remaining. Now, coming into a room with 8 minutes remaining is not bad. That just means I'm 2 minutes. Coming into the last room with 8 minutes remaining is not bad. It just means I'm 2 minutes behind what I would like to be. But this definitely makes up for it. Ideally, 5 minutes per room, as I always say. What I was talking about last room is make sure, especially when time starts to become an issue, make sure that you are sitting on the gate ready to go when the last NPC dies. It's so much better than, you know, finishing off all the rats. Then you have to waste an extra, you know, 30 seconds to a minute burning to the cache or waiting for your tractor beam or whatever. So good idea. Right here I did not do that as much because I wanted to stay near the Deviant Suppressor, but I had already started making my path towards the gate, and that's pretty important to remember. Here you can see we finished with 6 minutes remaining. So this last room was a godsend for me. Obviously by the time I get the loot and take the gate, you know, it'll be probably about 5.5 minutes left. But that final room was lucky for me. But yeah, but be attentive whenever you're doing these sites, and situational awareness is important. Remember that you don't want to add time to your overall completion because you were you know, you weren't getting in the position when you could have been. But that is the T5 Dark Sacrilege. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something, whether it's new tactics or a new ship to use. I enjoyed the Sacrilege now. I'm going to use it a lot more. I've always been afraid of it, but now I'm actually going to use it and play with it more. Hopefully you like this video. I'll put the fit down in the description. If you enjoy my content, like and subscribe. I'll have more of these videos coming out. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the abyss.